Hey everyone, today we're going to be talking about a microbe from the bacteria Protist called diatoms. So, what are diatoms? Diatoms are algae that fall under the phytoplankton category, which helps them provide for food for animals who are living in the ocean with them. And they also are important because they produce oxygen using photosynthesis. So, it's not only food that they're providing, but they're also producing oxygen for the atmosphere. And an enormous amount of oxygen produced for the ocean comes from phytoplankton, and majority of the phytoplankton that are produced are diatoms. The two main types of diatoms we're going to talk about are centrales and pinnales. Although there are 100,000 species of diatoms, these two are the main ones we will be talking about. And basically, centrales are found mostly in oceans and they have radial symmetry, so they are wheel-shaped. And on the opposite side, we have pinnales. Pinnales are elongated and are found in freshwater streams, ditches, and shallow places with water. So these algae are autotrophs, which rely on sunlight and water and carbon dioxide to produce their food. They are also unicellular, and they are single-celled organisms. As you can see on your right, there's a picture of a diatom, and the outer edge or the outer shell is actually made of glass. What we call that is frustules. I think it's frustules, but maybe it's frustulus. Hey everyone, apologies. The last slide is actually the outer shell of a diatom is pronounced as frustules. So they're glass-like, and mainly in this slide we're going to talk about where they're found, and they're mostly abundant in water. They can't really move around on their own, so basically where water takes them, that's where they go, and mainly they're found in oceans. Now, 1 liter of ocean water can have 15 million diatoms in it, and that's just an estimate. So in the next slide, I'm actually going to be showing you the diatoms that actually have a slit inside the bottom of their their belly portion, and that helps them glide along like a snail. Okay, so this is also another example of a raphy, and what it is just basically a line, a cut underneath the diatom, and it has small little pores that helps it basically move around like a slug. And this is just another picture of a closer look of the underbelly of a diatom. And not all of the diatoms have this, only some specific ones do. Not all can move around, most can only go where the water takes them. Now we will talk about how diatoms are reproduced. First, a diatom replicates one of its frustules. After generating a new frustule, the parent diatom keeps the new one and discards the old one. The old one is taken by the daughter cells, which split that frustule and create their glass shell, using the parent's old frustule. One thing to keep in mind about this reproduction is that the parent cells do not grow anymore, and as soon as they receive that old frustule, that is the size they remain at. So as time goes on, the dividing of diatoms decreases to their size. They become so small to the point where they cannot survive. And that's when they reproduce again, creating bigger diatoms. Although we think that diatoms are really positive for the ocean and help provide food and oxygen, there are some negative impacts, and there are diatoms that are toxic. A good example of this is shown in Karenia brevis red tides. These red tides, as shown in the picture, are caused by a growth a rapid growth of microscopic algae such as diatoms and dinoflagellates, which are two kinds of phytoplankton, and they are single-celled organisms. When too much of these dinoflagellates or diatoms are produced, they leave this red tide, which is also a danger, and it's a red warning that these are toxins. Anyone or anything coming near them will get sick. From the last slide, we were talking about dinoflagellates and diatoms, and how overproducing causes these red tides, which are a red flag that you can be aware of and stay away from. The toxin that is released in this process is called brevetoxin. Some small symptoms are respiratory irritation, shortness of breath, throat irritation, and even asthma attacks. Now, from the previous slides, we learned that brevetoxin is one that is released when these algae like dinoflagellates and diatoms are releasing these toxins. Now, when these animals come near these toxins, such as shellfish, there are people who eat these animals. The most common disease that we have is called amnesic shellfish poisoning. I will talk about the symptoms in the next slide. As you can see here, these are some of the causes of the amnesic shellfish poisoning. You can have anything from vomiting, nausea, to even seizures and coma, to even a possible death. What I found out is that there is no antidote for amnesic shellfish poisoning. The only treatment for severe cases is the use of life support systems until the toxins have passed from the victim's system. So how should I prevent this disease from coming to me? Well, the reason some people may have ASP, amnesic shellfish poisoning, is because they might not see the beach hazards or these warnings that are listed on these government websites saying that people should not fish or catch anything alive and eat it, basically. Now, when we talk about restaurants, the shellfish served in restaurants is not much of a worry because it's regularly tested for biotoxins. The only thing I have provided for you guys is these websites that tell you if there's a danger in catching fish. It can happen to fish as well, or shellfish. So these are a couple ways to just prevent this disease. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you liked the video.